Here we are again, my favorite place on the internet, Wish.com. The site where you can buy just about anything for practically nothing. Yeah, if that sounds too good to be true, it's because it is, which I proved in parts 1 and 2 of this series. From suspiciously cheap technology to literal fire hazards, I've bought it all, so you don't have to. And considering how much you guys seem to get out of this, I'm here to review even more crazy products I've found. Seriously, there's no end to the weirdness or danger you can find on this site. From suspiciously cheap smartphones and watches to, oh my god, what even is that? Well, let's find out. Please pray for me and my wallet. Fake phone. Smartphones today are super pricey, with handsets of some of the latest Android-compatible phones coming in at more than $1,800. Although I don't recognize this handset listed on Wish. It's got the outer appearance of an iPhone, but the product description claims it's an Android. It's so good that apparently it has dual SIM capability. And all for $60. That's not sus at all. Obviously, I had to purchase this Franken-phone to see what the heck was going on, and boy was I not surprised. For a start, the packaging had the phrase, "Android is a trademark of Google Inc." printed not once, but twice. I guess the manufacturer is trying really hard to convince people this is genuine. Okay, let's look at the handset itself and turn it on. Oh, welcome. That's very polite. Here we go. So, is it just me, or do all those look like Apple app icons? The settings, calendar, contacts, and if this were real Android software, famously owned by Google, why would it have Safari as the default browser instead of, Google Chrome? The clue's in the name. What is going on here? Alright, well, let's open up the gallery and, oh, there's already a file in here. Maybe a tutorial or... Nope. It's a K-pop music video. That makes sense. Maybe I'll have better luck with the torch function. Well, that's pretty dim. Camera? Considering the 3 massive lenses, it's not the best quality. Okay, for $60, I'm honestly surprised it even works. But is it legal to use Apple's iOS icons, which are protected by some pretty stringent copyright protection, to make this look more like a real Apple licensed device? Almost definitely not. Verdict: pretty phony. Lighter watch. Ever feel like you have too many accessories? Wish you could double some of them up? Like a wallet belt, flip-down sunglasses, shoes with socks built in, or a lighter watch. At least 2 of those sound insane, but I'm here to tell you that the last one, the lighter watch, is very real over on Wish.com. Perfect for people who need the time and a light in the exact same moment. I figured this had to be a joke, so for $5, I ordered one, half expecting a regular lighter gaff-taped to a cheap watch. But what arrived surprised me. It was exactly the same as the image in the product listing, and what's more, the watch worked. A sliding button on the side provides the buttons to work the lighter. But even after I'd filled up the watch with lighter fluid, I couldn't get a light. After looking at the reviews, though, it seems several other customers have gotten it to work, which is both hilarious and terrifying. Was I expecting this to work? No. Am I glad it didn't for me? Yes. There's just something about a cheap $5 watch filled to the brim with flammable liquid that I don't feel comfortable strapping to my wrist. Verdict: some things are best kept separate. Hot sweat cream. Every day, millions of people search for quick weight loss solutions, me included. We all know the answer is eat less, move more, but we all want there to be a magic lotion that just melts excess body fat off instantly, like this product Wish suggested. With a title that proudly states hot sweat cream, how could I resist? Promising it'll burn fat, reduce cellulite, and that it even comes in tropical, flavor, smell? Whatever it was, I bought it. And when it arrived, oh, this did not smell tropical. It smelled like chemicals and danger, and for some reason, it was a luminous green. It didn't come with any ingredient list, so for all you know, there could be rat poison in there. Rule number 1 on the internet: never apply any product you buy to your skin without knowing what's in it, especially one that promises to burn, burn, burn. Verdict: eat less, move more, and do not buy the mysterious danger cream. Poor me. Now there's one part of Wish.com that really terrifies me: the beauty and cosmetics section. Here you can find thousands of body-altering products that have no ingredient lists, look like torture devices, and… wait, what the heck is that? Is that woman's nose a strawberry? Oh, she's not the only one. There are hundreds of listings showing women with weirdly photoshopped strawberry noses being sucked at by whatever these things are. Okay, I'm not questioning it. I'm just going to hit buy on the one showing the least traumatized looking woman. Oh, nice. This one apparently comes with a camera setting, so I can see my pores. Whatever. Take my money, all $10 of it, and let's do this. Well, after a few weeks, it arrived, and I finally learned what it was: a visible blackhead apparatus. Blackheads being the buildups of oil and dead skin you can get in your pores. Oh, and the camera is to record yourself removing those blackheads? Wait, there's a whole YouTube space dedicated to videos of that? Oh man, as a species, we are so doomed. Anyway, a quick look at the instructions told me, please do not use scrub or other horny products before and after use. Horny? Okay. Well, try as I might, I couldn't get the supposed camera feature to work. So I affixed one of the nozzles, turned it on, and oh, yep, that sucks quite hard. I was a little apprehensive about putting this on my face, but after remembering it's not exactly my moneymaker, I got to work. Well, hey, nose reveal there for the fans. I tried a few different techniques, left it in one spot for a bit, slowly dragged it down, and gave me a nice circular suction mark, but failed to remove any of my blackheads. I tried it in a few more spots, but with no success. And my nose isn't a strawberry. Talk about false advertising. Verdict: this sucked, and not in a good way. Get grid. I'm a simple man who really enjoys a potato grid. Something about the lattice just makes them taste better in my opinion. So imagine my surprise when Wish.com read my mind and offered me what seemed to be a potato grid maker. And for $10, that's almost how much I spend on potato grids every day. Insta-buy. Well, it arrived without any instructions, so it was up to me to figure out how to slice this bad boy without dicing up my own fingers. The first few test runs were okay, but I finally realized if you turn the potato 90 degrees after you cut it and slice again, you get a grid. Neat. However, what I can't show you is how badly I messed up my fingers on the unexpectedly super sharp blade of this thing. I got too eager for grids, and now I'm missing part of my fingertip. Ugh. Verdict: I just lost my appetite. No earpods. If you love bad English as much as I do, then you're going to love this next thing I found. As I was scrolling through Wish.com's text section, a sentence at the top of an image caught my eye. Younger than me? Does not exist. When I eventually stopped laughing, I took a look at the product title and saw this was for a 2022 Super Mini Invisible Earphone Nano Size No Pain. Although all of this is apparently a lie, because in the description it reads, wearing is not invisible, you will feel pain in your ears. Man, I love a product that sounds like a threat. The description continued, no ears. No ears. Yep, had to state that twice for some reason. It does not enter the ears. Even children can relax. This gets more confusing and sinister by the minute. So obviously, I had to get it. I eagerly awaited the promised tic-tac-sized earphones that are perfect for children and people without ears, but when they arrived, they were just normal earbuds. They were slightly smaller than the standard set of wireless earbuds, I admit, but they weren't invisible, as proven by the fact that you can see them here in my ears. And for all the conflicting threats, I did feel some pain when I remembered I'd spent $26 on these. Verdict: worth it for the bad English. Hell's Kitchen. Alright, as I've established in many videos before this, I can't cook. So, when I see people making pastry masterpieces like this, with impossible-looking lattice designs on top, I just assume witchcraft is involved. But Wish.com tells me that actually, there's a tool for that. A specific tool that just makes pastry lattices. I mean, to me, a kitchen novice, that sounds way too cool to be true. But also, the picture on this listing looks like it was taken on a potato. The quality is so bad, which makes me think this picture has been copied from somewhere else on the internet and used by this seller to try and turn a quick buck. But hey, for $3, let's go ahead and see what we get. Okay, at a glance, this looks like the thing I ordered. It's just a little roller with sharp plastic alternating blades along it. Well, let's test it out. I bought some pre-rolled pastry, because if I'd actually attempted to make something, I'd have probably burned my house to the ground. And then I let it rip, and would you believe it, it actually worked. For all my clumsy handling and butterfingers, this came out better than I could have imagined. You just gently prise it apart and voila, easy pastry lattice. Oh, I feel like a real adult. Verdict: can someone teach me how to make the rest of the pie now? Peeling good. While some Wish products look pointless, there are others that overcomplicate very simple tasks, like this self-contained vegetable peeler. At first glance, it looks like it could be kinda handy, but why not just peel your veg over a bag or trash can if you're worried about mess? Yeah, it seems ingenious until you take it apart. So, to literally take it apart, I decided to spend $3 and order one. Alright, it arrived without any instructions, so it assumes I know how a peeler works. How bold of them. Luckily, I do indeed know how a peeler works. So, I grabbed my nearest cucumber to test it out. So, far from the easy peeling the images promise, the blade was dull, and I had to hack this poor cucumber to get any of the peel away. Because all of the peel is in one space, it quickly clogs up the blade. So after a few strokes, you have to empty it and clean it to use it again. It takes twice as long to peel anything. Ugh, so infuriating. I took a look at the reviews to see what everyone else who'd bought it thought, and sure enough, it was 1-star city. Verdict: I'm peeling very annoyed right now. Fail Guys. Do we all remember the lockdown peak of Fall Guys? The Battle Royale video game where you played as a bunch of jelly beans competing in an obstacle course in hopes of winning a crown? God, lockdown was a weird time. Well, the jelly bean legacy lives on in the form of Wish.com's 100% definitely not licensed Fall Guys inspired inflatable costumes. Man, the word inspired is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Yep, for just $40 you can dress up as a bootleg bean, and obviously I had to. I decided to buy the vague adult size costume in hot pink, but what I got was not that. While the inflation device was similar to the green blob costume I bought in part 2, the color was definitely not hot pink. Nevertheless, I got in, asked my cameraman to zip me up, and yeah, that's me in the suit. The suit which is definitely not what I would consider adult size. My face hole definitely isn't where my face is. I thought maybe I just needed to inflate it, so I tied all the straps around my wrists and ankles down and then made everything worse. Inflating it doesn't make it bigger, just more claustrophobic. I pulled some poses though and then tried to attach my crown. The struggle was so very real. My cameraman could have helped me at any point, but figured he'd watch me try and do this myself with my tiny, uselessly inflated arms like a broken T-Rex. Thanks, Rodrigo. Verdict: I did not win today. I can fling my sword. So, Wish.com has a few rules, believe it or not, regarding what can and can't be sold on the site. One of those regards prohibited items by country, which for almost every country includes dangerous items like knives and swords. So imagine my shock when I come across this thing. Yeah, that's a sword, apparently from the Game of Thrones TV show. No, wait, let's look at this title. It's an antique silver letter opener, so basically a fancy knife. Wish.com restrictions be damned, and for $5 I had to get it, if only to prove how lax Wish restrictions really were. However, I wasn't just proved wrong, I was also thoroughly humiliated by the seller, because this is what arrived. Letter opener? This is a toothpick. This is it compared to a quarter. It's minuscule. The bubbling in the blade part also shows this is definitely not antique silver, more like old trash. Well, I tried to use it to open a letter I had, and while it did work, it felt somehow both unnecessary and humiliating. Well, you win this round, Wish. Verdict: shame. 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 Beefy chicken. Have you ever wondered what a chicken with arms would look like? No, obviously not, because you're a normal, rational human being. One seller on Wish.com, though, figured that making tiny arms for chickens was, for some reason, their life's calling, and so has put several hilarious styles up for sale, from Macho Man arms to thumbs-up hands and even little T-Rex claws. Now you can buy your favorite chicken some decorative limbs. Do I have a chicken? No. Did I buy these anyway? Of course. And to model them instead of a chicken, I have my childhood teddy bear, Mr. Max. I mean, he already has a set of arms, but does he have a pair of super jacked arms? Well, now he does. Okay, these are a little bit big, probably perfect for a chicken torso, but not a teddy torso. The wire is pretty flimsy, so there's not much room for adjustment. Sorry, Mr. Max. Looks like you're stuck with your regular arms. Verdict: no gains for this bro. Gilly gripes. For those of you who didn't go through an embarrassing phase where you were obsessed with all things camouflage, ghillie suits are full-body suits adorned with extra material to help people like birdwatchers, photographers, and snipers blend seamlessly into the foliage of their environment. Now, obviously, decent pieces of kit like this don't come cheap. So imagine my surprise when I came across one on Wish for $2.50. The picture promised complete camouflage in leafy environments, made from a durable polyester material designed to keep comfort in well camouflaged. And all for less than a cup of coffee. I had to see if this was the bargain of the century, or just a scam in disguise. Well, good news, it arrived, and it was exactly what you'd expect from $2.50 of clothing. Durable. This is a thin mesh at best. Well, time to see if it could conceal me as well as the man in those pictures. I put everything on, zipped everything up, and went to test it out. Oh no, where am I? Where could I possibly be? I am one with nature, one with my backyard. Pay no attention to the clearly visible hands or ankles. It came in one size, and clearly that wasn't my size. Still, for $2.50, that's, well, it's certainly something. Verdict: feels bad, looks badder. Hot lips. Just when I think I might have found the weirdest item available to purchase, Wish comes out of the left field and surprised me with something I didn't even think needed to exist. Case in point, fake lips. Fake silicone lips, complete with fake teeth. I can't lie, I was scratching my head for a good while trying to figure out what purpose these could possibly serve. But it turns out they're for people looking to practice tattoo and microblading techniques on lifelike lips. Although, I only figured this out after I'd spent $5 on them to investigate further, and when they arrived, their lifelikeness was, disturbing. They came in a few different skin shades and were surprisingly soft to the touch, which was considerate. But after prying the lips apart and seeing the teeth, I noped out. Why would anyone think squishy teeth were okay? Verdict: I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Running your mouth. So, as we know, I'm not a fan of showing my face, but maybe I will be once I use Wish.com's new face slimming tool. Yeah, according to the product images, just keep this mouth-breathing ball in your mouth and breathe in with your mouth for 2 to 3 minutes every day. Never seen a sentence use the word mouth that often before. By the way, you'll be able to enhance your apple muscle. Yeah, that doesn't sound made up at all. Well, for $4, let's see if it works. It arrived after a couple of weeks in a cutesy-looking box, and in the shape of a bear? Okay, that wasn't anywhere in the product description, but I'm not mad at it. Let's see if there's anything else I need to know. The instructions are all in Chinese. But how hard can using this thing really be? All I have to do is put it in my mouth, breathe in and out, and... well, this looks awkward. It is giving my jaw a workout, but I don't think it's working my, apple muscle, wherever that may be. I'll probably just stick to not revealing my face. Verdict: I regret putting this in my mouth. Dark vision deal. Night vision equipment always looks really fun and cool in films, but in reality, comprehensive night vision equipment that works is a little bulkier and more complicated, not to mention expensive. So, when Wish.com showed me a pair of what it claimed were genuine night vision goggles, complete with telescopic night vision pictures of some dude holding a gun, a bear with her cubs, and a jaguar, not even at night, just a daytime picture of a jaguar, I knew I was in for a treat. It got even better when I saw almost every other image in the listing was just these goggles badly photoshopped onto pictures of miscellaneous children. None of them, critically, taken at night. I really knew I was on to a winner when I saw the listed size for these was high quality. Well, for $16, I wanted to see just how high quality these were. Spoiler alert, they weren't. See 25 feet in the dark, my ass. These were some cheap plastic green lenses with a couple of lights attached to them. That's not night vision, that's just a bad torch. And the review section seemed to agree with me. I was going to put them on to show you what they looked like, and then I found this picture that the seller had uploaded themselves, and a picture really does say 1,000 words. And every last one of them is the word lame. Verdict: dark vision, more like dork vision. Photo snore. If there's one thing I love more than bad English, it's badly photoshopped products, like this efficient anti-snoring device I found. Whoever edited this picture couldn't even be bothered to remove the 2 nostril plugs of this thing. So this guy looks like he's just sleeping with whatever this is on top of his face. I'm sure that's helping him get a restful night's sleep. A little further digging reveals this anti-snoring device has built-in micro-blowers, whatever that means, which apparently relieves snoring. Now, snoring is caused by your tongue, mouth, throat, or nasal airways vibrating as you breathe. So I'm fascinated to see how a tiny, cheap-looking $15 device combats that. It arrived pretty much as described. But when I took it out of the box, the hard plastic feel of the nozzles that were meant to go up my nose, and the fact it was labeled as an electric snorer, did not fill me with confidence. Nevertheless, I shoved it up my nose, turned it on, and... those micro blowers produce a loud, constant whirring noise that makes it impossible to get any sleep. If anything, the noise this thing makes is so much more annoying than my snoring. Verdict: this thing blows. Micro blows, that is. Pizza plush. Okay, so in the last installment of this series, you might remember I bought a couple of delicious-looking chicken leg pillows, only to be let down by their scammy sizing. You'd think that I'd be wary about purchasing more food-themed accessories, but I'm not. because the minute I set my eyes on this pizza blanket, I was ready to order. It looks realistic, cozy, and the description section contained more information than most of the technology I'd already bought. So, I spent a whole $30 on the biggest pizza blanket they had, one 70 inches in diameter. That's 5 feet 8 across, more than enough to wrap me up. I was expecting it to come in a big package considering how big it looked in the pictures, but once again, I'd got. This thing was barely big enough to cover my legs. It was more like a personal pizza rather than the extra large portion I'd paid for. Instead of a blanket, I've taken to using it as a decorative couch cover. Hopefully it'll serve as a reminder never to buy food-themed items off Wish ever again. Verdict: I got pizza hurt. Freaky feet. The beautiful thing about Wish is that you can put just about any word into the search bar and it'll suggest something utterly insane. For example, I typed in foot, thinking it might suggest something obviously related like slippers or maybe socks. What did it give me? Feet holes. Weird silicone pad feet holes. Apparently these are for foot care. How exactly is not specified. Seems like the perfect thing to spend $2 on, especially considering they arrived looking like this. I'm not sure how they look more disconcerting without a foot inside them, but they do. They're very stretchy, but this still hasn't helped me figure out how exactly what foot problem they're meant to help with. So let's put them on. If anything, it's now even less clear because they feel super weird. They're a little tacky, they don't support anything, and they stick to the floor. So overall, they just feel wrong. Verdict: the best thing about them is taking them off. Waifu Laifu. If you, like me, watch what could be considered an unhealthy amount of anime, then you're probably familiar with the, let's say, eccentric fan community the genre attracts. While cosplaying as your favorite magical girl or Frank's pilot is perfectly fine, buying this might be taking the resemblance a little too far. Yeah, that's a full anime character face mask. But there's something not quite right seeing the giant eyes, nostrilless nose, and pitted pink tongue in real life. However, what really makes it is the description says this is an unique and thoughtful gift or wedding favor. For just $15, I had to see what kind of wedding this would be suitable for. Fast forward a few weeks, it finally arrived, and gomen nasai. That's Japanese for I'm sorry. And believe me, I am so sorry. Watching this back and seeing my eyes poking out of the top there is it's just wrong. While it's incredibly creepy to look at from literally every angle, I can't deny this is exactly what I ordered. Verdict: well done, Wish.com. You came through on the strangest product possible. Right, whose wedding am I attending in this? Oh boy. Did you have a Game Boy when you were younger? Man, the original handheld console was a game changer. So much so, it seems to have inspired the design of this vaguely named portable game console I found on Wish. Only this one comes with 400 games built into it. Does it say what these games are? Not exactly. Though one of the images shows the console with an older version of The Legend of Zelda on it, except it has a YouTube play button in the middle there. Yeah, something feels wrong here. So, for $10, I decided to see what these 400 games could be. And from the minute it arrived, this thing promised to be less of a Game Boy and more of a oh boy. For a start, that SUP logo is a copy of Skater Fashion House Supreme's well-known logo. Second, the tagline for this thing, support external gamepad double against, sounds like a bad riddle. And third, when I unpacked it, the screen of this thing was scratched to hell. Okay, well, let's not judge a book by its blatantly bootlegged cover just yet. Let's turn it on and look at the promised 400 games. Here we have Super Mario, which I'm fairly certain is a licensed Nintendo game, but we also have Mario 14, Mario 3, weird ordering there, Dr. Mario, Mario Bros., then Turtles 1 and 4, followed by another licensed game, Contra, along with Contra 7 and Contra Fork. Not Contra Force, Contra Fork. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to fork with that. Skimming through the pages of these games reveals even more blatant bootlegs and misspelled game titles, such as Milk and Nuts, Magic Jewelry, Raid O Bun, Bungeling, and Pac-Man, a classic game, famously owned by Bandai Namco. Basically, this console has a whole bunch of illegally copied games on it, has renamed some of them, though it hasn't bothered with others, and has whacked them in a shoddy, tiny plastic console. And to add insult to injury, Zelda wasn't even on there. The nerve! Verdict, fork this. Not so smartwatch. Okay, so the smartphone left me wanting. How about Wish.com's version of a smartwatch? Apparently, it comes with calories, Twitter, step count, sport mod. But look at that crystal clear display. And it's an 11 series. 11 series of what? We'll never know. But for $20, who's asking? Give me that sweet, sweet sport mod. So after a few weeks, it arrived, although I'm not sure I got the right watch, as it had a giant number 8 on the front of it. 8? I thought this was an 11 series. Okay, never mind. We'll fire this baby up and... Oh... That's not the crystal clear resolution I was promised. It looks very pixelated. No matter though, it seems to be telling the time. That's a start. Let's check out the old sport mod. I've literally just turned it on and somehow it thinks I've clocked 18,476 steps in the last 5 minutes. That might be a new world record. There's a heart rate monitor that also appears to work, even if the screen has all the visual clarity of an old Nokia phone. So sorry, I take that back. That's an insult to old Nokia phones. Verdict, smartwatch? More like dumb watch. Yeah, I'm all out of clever quips. And money, that's the best I can do. Right, well, that's another batch of weird and wacky items I've wasted my money on so that you don't have to. Which was your favorite, and do you think there was enough weirdness left out there for a part 4? Let me know down in the comments below, and thanks for watching.